Hello, this is Evan once again, and this is going to be another little let's make something video. It's going to be part 2 in my overall big sort of Gladiator game project. As you've potentially seen, or if you haven't, go have a watch. I made myself a little arena. It was the first time I made a terrain, but now I'm going to be making some miniatures. I'm going to be making some gladiators. Now, I have never made little miniatures before, like human ones. I've made those boats that you've probably seen in my Black Sails videos, but I've never actually made little miniature people before. So this is not going to be a how-to video, more a probably what not to do. But it's also just, I guess watching someone who's new at this gig give it a bit of a go. So that's what it's going to be. I'm going to be painting up these Pegasus Hobby Gladiators. They are 1/71 scale, which is a bit of an elephant in the room because they are not the typical 28mm little figures. They are a tad smaller than that. Why did I do that? Well, that's because two reasons, altruistic and selfish. The altruistic reasons was this was what was at my local hobby shop. So ultimately wanting to support the local crew, this is what I got, and this is what was available to me in regards to gladiators. There are other gladiators in 28mm available, which I could get shipped in, but support the local crew. We've got a Games Workshop nearby, so obviously they're stocked with all the usual stuff. But as far as the historical modelings go, they're more into the realm of diorama models, not wargaming models. So this is what they have. The more selfish reasons, I'm a cheapskate. I'm a complete cheapskate, and I won't deny that. These were actually relatively cheap. So like I said, there's the Pegasus 1/72 scale. They're actually connected to another set that I did see called by Italiari, the Gladiator Fight Battle set, and I might chuck some pictures up of that. And this was initially what I was potentially going to get. Some positives to it. It came with an MDF arena that you could put together and paint, and that looked very attractive. It looks kind of nice. And so that was kind of cool to get. You also get a lot of gladiators for how much it costs. That was another positive. But I've got to be honest, with all these cheap sets, I noticed with a lot of them as I'm researching and looking around the place, they're cheap for a reason. They've obviously been printed as in one, meant to be popped out and cut off their sprues in one piece. They are very two-dimensional, is the best way I can describe it, which is sometimes okay. The ones sort of just standing confidently and proudly look all right. But then you get other ones that look like what I can only describe as they're in the falling down position. Like they have their weapon held out front, they have a leg kicked out behind. I guess they're meant to be running along, but it just looks like they've just tripped over on a battlefield. And it's not just gladiators and knights, it's also you've got these dudes running around with guns. They're holding the gun in the middle of the weapon while they run. I don't know where they're running, but it just looks like they're tripping down some stairs. But then I came across this. This was made by Pegasus Hobbies, as I said before, many times now. And it was made in almost reaction to the Italiari set. They wanted this to complement it. They wanted a greater variety of miniatures. They wanted ones that looked a little bit more historically accurate. And what I liked about what I saw in my research is they're in more engaged and active poses, which is kind of what I want for my game that I'm putting together. So that's why I got this. There's some justifications. In this video, I'm going to basically go through the stages of putting them together, of painting them, probably making mistakes along the way and showing you how I fumble through this whole experience. But it all, of course, starts with an unboxing. Yes, this is a secret unboxing video. So let's crack these open. Let's have a look at what these little models look like. This was a birthday gift, which was nice. So that's a part of it. As in selected by myself, but with birthday money. So that's a part of the reason why it's been so long coming in this video. It'll be so long because I've got to paint them all. And here we are. Well, they're certainly more rubbery than I thought they would be, to be perfectly honest. But I'm liking what I see, to be perfectly honest. So they all come on this one big rectangular sprue. I saw pictures of them coming on like little tabs. So I'm glad to see that they're not quite like that. But let's have a look at a few of them. We've got some of them that appear, if we can get to focus. We get some that appear on the box art. So there's a little chappy there with his sword in the air. As you can see, like these ones, unlike the Italiari ones I mentioned, they're not all two-dimensional. They're not all printed in one go. They've got that dynamic pose. They've got them in their little arms and legs sticking out here, so that way you can put them together more effectively and paint them more effectively, hopefully, as well. But there they are. So you get about 2 or 3 of each type. I am very tempted with some of those to swap some heads around. I'm not sure if that's a good idea because, like I said, I haven't got exactly a lot of experience in this kind of thing. But I'll probably give it a go, because why not? Now, we get some classic examples of gladiators. So down here somewhere, we've got the bits and pieces to make a Retriarius, the fishnet gladiator, which I intend to do. We also got bits and pieces for the Pursuer, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. I'll put it down the bottom in a sec. So some classic gladiators. We got ones, here we go, here he is. The Secutor? No, that's not right. But plenty of variety and all relatively contemporary to like 1st century gladiators, which is nice. Including, and I kind of like this, we got ourselves some female gladiators, which there is very little evidence of female gladiators, but it is there, it does exist. We have got both archaeological evidence and in the written record, examples of female gladiators fighting. We also have these chappies down here. So these dudes are to be done up. They're little people. They're people who are short. You know, it used to be called people who had dwarfism. Is what they used to call it. Not so much now. Little people apparently is the way to go. Though I'm not the best on that kind of stuff. They'd have them as well. Now the thing with both the women and the little dudes is that they were back in the day used more for ridicule, to be perfectly honest. It was meant to be funny, and they would have them come out in the arena, and usually a woman would fight a little person, and everyone would sort of laugh as they, oh, look at them trying to be gladiators, which is, let's be honest, completely harsh and cruel. Now I'm going to paint them up. I'm going to definitely paint them up, but I'm not going to use them in that respect. I'm pretty much just going to use them as a typical gladiator. Yes, I know in some of these games we're going to play with these gladiators that a dude with shorter legs is not going to run as fast as someone with slightly longer legs. But in all honesty, I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to say that, nah, they're 100% a fighting combative gladiator. Now, we also get in this set a few dying people, and there's also someone holding a blade. No, that's the guy dying. But over here somewhere we've got someone holding a blade to another person's neck. I'll see if I can find it in the box. No, I cannot. But with some of these dudes, like the ones with the person holding the blade to their throat, and maybe ones like this chappie here, I might paint one of these chappies up to be a regular gladiator, but I also might turn some of them into some terrain, some statues that can be put up around the arena. But here we go. So there we go. So these is the Pegasus hobby dudes that over the next little while I will be slowly putting together and painting up and hopefully getting them ready to go. As you can see, there's no bases on these guys. I'll come to that later. But yes, I hope you enjoy this amateur try and make this work. I certainly am going to enjoy it. Right, at this stage I have assembled all my little gladiators, and it is very much a story of some positives and some negatives. Certainly my youthful enthusiasm has gotten in the way of some good decisions, but that's alright. Let's talk about some good decisions though first. So, I'm pretty happy with how they came together. Just used some pretty simple proxy glue to stick them all together. As you can see, I've put them on bases already. I don't know if that's probably a wise decision or not, but that's what I've done. The bases are just simple counters, like simple smooth counters. So I've got some sandpaper and I roughed them up so the paint would stick better. Also, done a little bit of reorganizing with some of these gladiators. Like this fella here was a Cicator or something like that. But swapped over some of the blade stuff to turn it into a Secutor. So we had some more historical matching duos. As you can see, I also stuck onto a bottle cap back here I'm going to use these two dudes in this kind of dramatic execution pose more as a bit of terrain, like a statue in the arena than anything else. The other thing I'm really happy with is with our Retiaris here. They came as a pair where the net's over another dude, but I made myself a little net out of, in all honesty, some extra scrap tutu of my daughter's tutus. So that made it look pretty well. Pretty much I just soaked the fabric in some glue, so it will hopefully harden as it dries, which it seems to be doing, which is nice. I also made some very early attempts at some Zilliform highlightings by spraying down some white from the top. But now to the bits you all want to hear, the mistakes I made. Right, some pretty obvious ones. I stuck the shields on. I was way too keen, just stuck all the shields on, thought it'd be fine, but now I have to paint my way around that. Worse still, I stuck on the net. So even though the net's kind of cool to have on there, I have to like paint around it. But hey, you live and learn, and I guess hopefully I'll learn. Next step, blocking in the colours. Should be fun. Okay, so I've finished blocking in all of the colours. And my goodness, is it a demonstration of what not to do with your miniatures. As I said, I'm new to this, so please be kind. I am happy with the results. I'm happy with how things are going. But, oh my goodness. So as I said before, I put the shields on. Huge mistake. Trying to get in there close. Didn't really happen. Not nearly as bad though as with this bloke. Putting the Retiaris, putting the net on early. Oh my goodness, there's still some parts in on his leg that I was not able to get to and paint. So I'm just going to rely on the fact that he will be sitting at a distance and that most people would not notice what went wrong. In addition, realizing that I really have very little sense of color theory. So, the way that I've colored their shields and other bits of their equipment, it's not really based on anything, and it's not even based on any sense of style or colorization. Like this one, I don't mind it. I like how sparkly it is, but who knows. Anyway, I feel this is a whole bunch of apologetics, but nonetheless, even with all my little mistakes, let's just say that, I am kind of happy how these guys are starting to come together. And I prefer not to talk about how I coloured these bits gold. The paints I used were less than conventional, let's just say that. But anyway, here they are. What have I got to do now? Well, I've got to obviously do the bases, but I'll do that after I give them a wash, and let's just see how that goes. Yeah, so I've got some actual wash to do it with. Up until now, with my little ships that I've made in the past, I've made my own washes because I thought, they're ships. But because we've got our, these chappies with so much skin showing, I thought, well, I probably should just go an actual proper wash. So I've got myself who is it? This one, Game Wash. No idea who that is, but we'll give them a smattering of that and we'll see how it looks after that. So I'll give them a wash and I'll start basing them up. I'm just going to get some sand, and I'll show you the sand when I've done the basing, but that's where we're heading to next. Okay, wish me luck. Right, and just like that, I'm going to say that is that. So here they are. They have been based in with sand. I've given them their washes, and I've also, as you can probably tell, given them a coating of gloss, a gloss varnish finish. I do intend to use them. So yeah, that whole experience was quite interesting. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever painted miniature soldiers. Okay, I've done the boats before, but miniature soldiers, and it really was just an exercise in just complete nudity, basically. From putting on the shields early, the color scheme being a bit crazy, just everything was just really, really haphazard and really, really average, to be honest. Choosing a gloss finish instead of a matte finish. Oh, so many things wrong. But what was done right? Well, I think what worked really well was sanding the bases, because they were smooth finished and everything's sticking to the bases really nicely. I really do like these miniatures from Pegasus. They do look nice. They are a good variety, so they're very forgiving on that front. The wash was, as usual, a bit of a saviour, made things look a decent bit better. And in addition, the sands. Now, I know that I've used natural sand, and so people are like, oh, you could never do that, and fair enough too. But again, I'm fairly fortunate and blessed to live in a part of the world with some pretty good beaches and pretty good sand on those beaches. So actually, I think does the trick. It certainly matches in with the rest of my amphitheatre. Well, what's next? Next up, these miniatures, they were not painted obviously for display purposes. They were painted to be displayed with. And so they are a part of a broader project I'm working on, constructing not just miniatures, not just some terrain, but in all honesty, a game that we could be played with these miniatures. So that's what's coming up next. So stay tuned to find out more. I'm excited about this project and to see how it plays, how I enjoy. I obviously played a couple of rounds of this game that we've been creating as we've been sort of fiddling with it and testing it. I quite enjoy it, and I hope other people do too. So stay tuned to find out more about that. And yeah, I'll leave with a few photos of these things a bit more closer up to have a better look, and also see how they fit into the larger arena. Okay, thanks for listening. Goodbye.